The theme of today's video is healing and hope, and the stained glass pictures are from the Mapparium, a 3-story tall globe housed at the Christian Science Complex in Boston, where I visited last spring to read parts of Sandy's book, The Glass Studio. You can only view the Mapparium by walking inside of it on a 30-foot-long bridge that spans its diameter. Since its installation in 1935, the globe has never been updated, a conscious choice by the church to capture the world exactly as it was during a particularly difficult and dangerous time. Like in 1935, we're in the midst of a dangerous time too, where the efforts of honorable people to protest injustice and the destruction of democratic ideals are all too often drowned out by the noise of lies, violence, and propaganda. The Mapparium's current exhibit, How Do You See the World?, asks visitors to share their experiences of positive change because, quote, finding signs of progress in the news can often seem difficult, but when we look for it, our world is full of examples of hope, resilience, joy, gratitude, compassion, generosity, courage, and forgiveness. As I read Sandy's poem, The Next Open Space, I hope you'll be inspired to, in Sandy's words, look up, always look up. The Next Open Space by Sandra Yannone. We think it's about our footing, planting the fleshy parts solid to ground, taking it one step at a time, whatever it is. I try to remember this as I comfort my sisters and brothers as they migrate to spaces that feel closed before reached. I have been there, outside, in that dark that redefines dark, without words, raising my feet or voice, impossible. So, yes, it is this dance that offers to turn us toward the next open space, teaching us there is so much more than what we perceive breathing under our feet. The ground rising all around us like immaculate glass cities. Look up, always look up. Find the bird inside you. And remember this about the next open space. There is always more than one. There is always more than one. And now on to The Carousel of Happiness, my poem about a working carousel in the wonderful town of Nederland, Colorado, where my son Joe lives. Every animal on the carousel was hand-carved by resident Scott Harrison, and as his project neared completion, the town, population 1,500, was so moved by his mission and his dedication, they raised $700,000 to give it a home. This year is the carousel's 15th anniversary, and I hope I do justice to Scott's mission by sharing his story through this poem. The Carousel of Happiness by Kate Flaherty. For my kids, Joe and Emmy, and for Scott Harrison. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. Joni Mitchell, The Circle Game. In Joe's Colorado mountain meadow town, Emmy and I go to the Carousel of Happiness, walking distance from his apartment. Walking distance, also the name of the Twilight Zone episode with the carousel, the man spinning back 20 years ago or so to his old hometown, only to learn he can't return. The same lesson Joni sings to her ladies of the canyon. Emmy and I enter knowing nothing besides this truth we've arrived at. A carousel of happiness within walking distance must be ridden at least once in a lifetime. The cashier takes our $2 admission and says, "You don't have to ride just yet. Take your time. Look around." So we do, learning Scott Harrison, 19 in 67, a U.S. Marine machine gunner in Vietnam, had a music box his sister sent that played Chopin's Tristesse when wound. The tinny plink of notes from the cylinder's turning teeth helped drown the sound of war, death, desperation, if only for a moment. Scott dreamt of merry-go-rounds in mountain meadows without mines, without machine guns. Back stateside, I found my heart needed work, he said. Sculptures had no expectations, he said. So he rescued a carousel emptied of animals, which had spun at the turn of the century. Salt Air Pavilion in Utah, Coney Island of the West. Its bones dusted for scrap, he hauled the carousel parts to Nederland, Colorado, his mountain meadow, 2.5 miles above sea level, its whimsical name the perfect place for Scott to spend decades carving joy from trauma, making a menagerie of animals that coexist without cages. Scott sculpted so much peace, love, and yes, happiness. His tiny town turned out to build a home that holds it, keeping the carousel and its creatures safe from the whims of the weather. Grateful our cashier encouraged a walkabout, we're finally ready to ride. We climb on, Emmy choosing a cheerful gorilla who sits on a bench, his arms slung protectively behind her. I ride the giraffe, which oddly has a boa constrictor wearing a straw boater wrapped jauntily around its neck. Emmy and I turn as the perforated paper winds through the 1913 military band Wurlitzer, a beast of an instrument joyfully pumping out a tune I swear is CCR's Bad Moon Rising. And I think Chopin wasn't the only music that got Scott through Vietnam. When locomotion comes on next, the gears of my memory engage, moving 20 years or so ago to the time Joe and Emmy were last on a carousel. The Flying Horses of Watch Hill, Rhode Island. Joe grabbed the brass ring, winning a wooden nickel good for another go-round, but we got ice cream instead. Strange to think those little kids, my children, are now old enough to be the adult in that twilight zone with the carousel. If I remember the episode right, the man goes back in time only to startle his childhood self. The boy tumbles from the painted pony, breaking his leg. Suddenly, man and boy both earn a lifelong limp, the man learning a lesson the boy has yet to forget. Don't let the past trap you. Look up, climb out, move on. Joe has no limp to remember this truth. Just a back bent under granite slabs he lifted, one by one, like gravestones for a garden path, to grieve his father's death. For Emmy, it's her hands that ache from the red socks she knit for her father to be cremated in. My pain is a different animal altogether. Which begs the question, is pain self-imposed penance for survival or a ticket punched toward healing? The answer's no matter when the power of centripetal force is at play. So I release this poem that lives in my heart to spin its way out to you. Yes, you.